already got rid of one threat. Cux is going to be eliminated. Into the back goes Gushwei. Has Cux completely locked in the room. Will be able to take him out. Follows up for the other supporter. Kraken going to be going down. And he is not done yet. Just chases deep. Gets absolutely everybody.
Of all the Chinese talent entering the Overwatch League, most Overwatch fans are likely already plenty familiar with Zhu Gushwei Quilin.
And oh, here comes Gushwei, into traffic we go, down goes McCree, and China now 67% Jake. One fight away, that's two supports, down to one car.
A tank player that is commonly said to have revolutionized Winston play in the current era of Overwatch. As an all-star player on the fan-favorite team, the Hangzhou Spark, Gushwei has joined the ranks of the Overwatch League to set a new standard for how main tank players should play. And following his set of thrilling performances in the 2018 Overwatch World Cup, Gushwei could be considered one of the best new players entering the league, and a serious contender for League MVP going forward. But for fans who have not followed the Chinese scene previously to the 2018 Overwatch World Cup, Gushwei has seemingly come out of nowhere, but now everyone knows his name. Want to know more? So did we. Today we're going to be diving into Gushwei's history on this installment of Profiles.
They're going for Poppy Fresh, Rip Shadow in, they're looking for the finish, but Poppy Fresh able to get away. Both on us, taking down that fight with Gushwei, so much worth the work with, swinging the hammer. Where are you going? Goal line, throw the hammer, still in, he's knocked off the map! Gushwei finding his way through, and China, they retake here, it's going to be the map. It's a desperation grab.
我的名字是小时候玩起帆的一个公会的名字，因为比较喜欢，所以就取了。
The term Gushwei means lonely snow, which invokes solemn and peaceful imagery in the minds of many Chinese fans. It seems almost ironic now that the 18-year-old Gushwei has come to represent the polar opposite. It's hard to imagine him being lonely now while being surrounded by thousands of adoring, cheering fans, and a slow and quiet snowfall does not do metaphorical justice to Gushwei's destructive tank play whatsoever. But let's take a deeper look into Gushwei's past and previous competitive experience, which is actually surprisingly simple. Gushwei played for LGD Gaming throughout his whole career until recently, having first joined LGD Gaming in March 2017. Gushwei has been a staple of the Chinese contenders roster for what's felt like forever when looking at the chronology of Overwatch's Chinese scene. LGD Gaming has had its ups and downs, being a team that was strong and to be feared for their incredibly dominant and oppressive style. But it was not uncommon to see them fizzle out at times against teams that were not afraid to rival their aggression. They've seen great successes, as well as their fair share of demoralizing defeats. And it's this tumultuous path to pro that Gushwei had been fighting on. Gushwei's skills have been honed in what many regard as the most volatile and aggressive region in Overwatch, and this comes out clear in his playstyle. Looking at Gushwei's list of accolades, we can see that he is someone that always goes so far, but is no stranger to being stopped just short of complete victory, as his team LGD Gaming came in second place in both Seasons 1 and 2 of Chinese Contenders. Given this fact, Gushwei was surely fired up and looking to finish first in his next big tournament. And that tournament just happened to be the 2018 Overwatch World Cup.
Zhang's just got completely mashed there. That's the problem. Gushwei can start the fight however he likes.
And he can get out as ever he wants.
Or not, and that may be the case. He can just stay around and maybe just cause a bit of a ruckus here now in the bar. And Gushwei and co completely dominating Finland as they try and push into the saloon.
Gushwei cemented his title as the best main tank that China had to offer. Many longtime fans of Chinese Contenders knew Gushwei was a star player, but it was on the world stage that suddenly the rest of the planet was forced to recognize just how incredible he really was.
世界杯上面嘛，世界杯上面，我的队伍是把资源全都是给我，以我为核心打的，然后我在世界杯上面打出来了，然后发挥的比较好，所以在西方吸了很多粉丝。
Gushwei's reputation skyrocketed as the world bore witness to his ability and skill on Team China, as they dominated in the Bangkok qualifier, and later they surprised the world by beating both Team Finland and Team Canada to face Team South Korea in the finals. Although Team China lost 4-0 to South Korea, their path to the finals was still a monumental feat. This Chinese squad had to play through several teams stacked with Overwatch League talent, and it was made completely apparent that Guxue and his cohorts were easily rivaling some of the best Overwatch League Season 1 talent, if not outright beating them more often than not. Guxue's impressive statistics from the World Cup reflected his skill well. When playing Winston and Reinhardt, Guxue was the highest earner of final blows per 10 minutes across all heroes played by those in the main tank position, and also had the most final blows per death across all main tanks in the World Cup. It was obvious after this event to all of the Overwatch community that the standards for what we should call a good main tank should be substantially raised. Guxue showed how a main tank with exceptional ability can carry his team on his back in ways that no one else at the World Cup was capable of doing. On social media and livestream chats across the world, Guxue's primal rages were being compared to Dragon Blades due to their lethality.
Has a chance. They drop the barrier. 4 gonna get hit. Lead out of the fight. 5 on 5. China, get it in there. You see the primal range to the back. They get Looney, and suddenly China still in this.
Guxue's Got Blade was a common and terrifyingly accurate phrase. It was quite clear that Guxue had set a new standard for all Overwatch League main tanks to aspire to when everyone saw a main tank doing that much damage that often. Highly rated and regarded by many as a realistic playoff contender, Guxue's new team, the Hangzhou Spark, are already one of the most popular teams in the entire Overwatch League. Their eye-catching aesthetics and branding have seemed to capture the hearts of old and new fans alike. But they wouldn't be this popular if it weren't for their playoff level roster, and Guxue is one of the many moving parts in this electrifying lineup. Being one of the 2 current Chinese players on this roster, Guxue has found himself in a unique position for the first time since leaving his home in LGD Gaming. Guxue has always had to communicate with Chinese players, and was always given many resources with the trust that he could carry. But now on the Spark, a team with all-stars filling up nearly every position on the roster, the dynamics are fairly different from what Guxue may be used to. It was no surprise to many insiders that the Spark were dominating scrims with their loaded team of young talent, and the second they hit the stage, they came out swinging with 2 wins out of the gate against the newly reformed Shanghai Dragons and previous playoff contenders in the LA Valiant. Since then, they have finished the first stage with a 3-4 record, with a long season still ahead of them. But the Spark aren't even fully charged yet. With Sassen yet to join the rest of his team, many are expecting the Spark to storm the rankings with some more time as the rest of the pieces fall into place for their roster and their team culture settles in. Guxue could not have found himself in a better position, surrounded by so many other gifted and hardworking players from another region to help him grow, and with many adoring fans to cheer him on. This story is but the beginning for Guxue, and this season of the Overwatch League will be his chance to cement himself as a legend in the game.